Warm greetings, my friend. This is Karni Zor with your astrologically weekly astrological forecast. This time broadcasted to you from beautiful Wales. So let's take a look around. I'm here in Wyniford now, preparing for the last day of a 3 days storytelling festival that I'm gladly taking part of together with my husband. It's raining, so I'm underneath the roof here, but let's just take a look at this beautiful scenery. So I'm going to tell you, okay, so here we are. I'm going to tell you about Mercury today because we're heading towards its last week of retrogression and there's many things to tell about it. But first I want to warmly invite you to the next adventure. We're going to Egypt in December, and this is the time to make the move and register. So you are joining us there in the amazing pyramids of Cairo, Giza, and in the fabulous temples of Luxor, walking between the gods. And actually the message of today definitely includes an Egyptian god. So let's talk about Mercury. Mercury is at its end of the retrogression period. Every 3-4 months Mercury goes backwards. Of course, it doesn't really go backwards in the skies, it always revolves around the sun. But from where we see it here on planet Earth, as it revolves around the sun, from time to time it would look as if it goes backwards. And we know everything about Mercury trying to mess with our communication, and that it's a difficult time regarding computers and phones. But let's talk about the most serious part about Mercury. Mercury is the planet or the god to do with our thoughts. Mercury in the Greek mythology was the messenger of the god, and he had wings on his helmet and on his sandals, and he flew fastly, giving the messages of the gods. So Mercury has to do with our communication, also reminding us that some of our thoughts are not our own, are actually coming from the gods and delivered by us, hopefully. When Mercury retrogrades, it's not only about bad communication, it's actually a very wonderful opportunity to rethink about the last 3 months, things that we thought about in the last 3 months. It's a time to reshape our thoughts and our plans. So we might reconsider things that we said or talked or planned about in the previous 3 months. Mercury's retrogression gives us some time to reflect and to adjust and maybe to refine our plans. But also, a good thing to remember and know about Mercury is that the Greek god Mercury actually comes from a more ancient, serious god, which is Thoth. So Thoth is the Egyptian. Okay, I told you we'll get back to Egypt. The Egyptian god of magic. His head was an ibis head, and his function was to teach the magicians. And in Egypt, writing things, the hieroglyphs, were magic. And we also have it now in English. Spell means to write something, but also to cast a spell. And Mercury Thoth wants to remind us now that the way we talk, even if it's outside or in ourselves, meaning our thoughts, is a big magic. When we think about something, when we imagine something, we actually create it, we make it happen. The whole world was created by the speech of God, and what we think really creates the reality around us. So during the next week, and Mercury will retrograde till September 16th, so we had just a few days to work on it. We better pay attention to the things that we think about, because we want to remember that what we think about also really creates our reality. So do we think positively? Do we consider the best possibilities? Do we put our mind on the best future that we can have? So during the next few weeks, I warmly advise, be careful of what you think about, because things will manifest. If not now, then later on in the future. And this is the message from Mercury, to really be mindful of what you think, and doubly mindful about what we say, Another important thing about Mercury is to pay attention to our thought patterns. Is there a way of thinking that is not relevant to my life anymore, that is not promoting? This is a time that it might be really bitingly real. We might be aware of things that we actually say to ourselves that is not promoted, that are not relevant anymore. This is a time to replace these sayings to ourselves, these thought patterns, these thinking patterns, and to change them with something better, which is much more promoting. So I wish you a wonderful time. I hope to see you with me in Egypt very, very soon. And see you next week in the weekly astrological forecast. Bye bye.